Hello there, Graham here, and it's time for another review. I know I did a live watch along last night, and if you were there and you watched me react to this show, thank you very much, first of all, for clicking in and subscribing and watching and liking and everything. If you're new around here, then please do smash a subscribe button. Yeah, you saw how I reacted last night to Double or Nothing, and in my opinion, it was the best wrestling pay-per-view we've had in 2026 by a long way. They absolutely smashed it. It's not a slogan. It's not a nice little jingle. It's not anything like that. A nice little saying, that people just throw out there. It is a fact. This is where the best wrestle. AEW, by a mile, so much better than anything else out there. They were phenomenal. Okay, there was maybe one or two matches that weren't to my cup of tea. There was one match I did take a break on, and sometimes in a pay-per-view, you've got to do that. That's 5 hours long. Pre-show, we had 3 matches that weren't that great, and I wasn't expecting a lot from, to be honest with you. Divine Dominion, Megan Bain and Lena Cross, I'm liking what they're doing with them. This 5-minute thing is getting them over and making them look strong, and I'm all for that. Build them up, make them look strong, and they're doing something with the tag team champions in the women's side. The women they were facing, you knew they were going to win. But again, it's just a match on the pre-show, so there's nothing that special. Death Riders and the Ops, 2 heel teams going up against each other in a trios match, and it just shows the levels that these two factions are at and how people care about them and perceive them. No one cares. No one cares about the Death Riders. No one cares about the Ops anymore. They just need to go away, both factions, and just forget about them, just wipe them out and just let them all just go their separate ways and see if they can get themselves over, because it's not working as at the moment with them in these factions. It's not. And we had a silly 10-man tag that had so much going on, you couldn't really follow it. There was Big Boom AJ, there was the Rizzler, there was his other fat little kid, and QT Marshall, who's lost considerable amounts of weight and looks pretty good. The conglomeration were there. It was a mess. They made Shane Taylor Promotions look silly, another heel faction you're never going to be able to take seriously from this match and going forward. And that was the pre-show. You had Eddie Kingston come back at the end of it. The best part of it was Mick Foley was the host of the pre-show, and we did get an in-ring segment between him and MJF just before the show kicks off. That was fantastic. That was worth watching the whole pre-show for, that whole hour or 2 hours or whatever it was, just sitting there for all of those matches that were absolute duds. To get to see Mick Foley and MJF in a ring go toe-to-toe on the mic, on the stick, was fantastic. It was worth watching and worth waiting for. And it really did hype up the pay-per-view as well. Did a good job there. Darby Allin coming in after MJF kicked Mick Foley in the nuts. And yeah, a great way to start off the show. And we go straight into the main show, Double or Nothing, the main pay-per-view. It's a New York Street Fight I Quit match, and it was brutal. It was brilliant. It was everything it could have been and more. Cope versus FTR. This is how they ended the story. If they could probably go on from here and do more if they wanted to, really. I wouldn't complain. But yeah, a great way to end this story was this match. Cage and Cope winning them the belts. Beth coming back and, yeah, costing them the match. A great finish, a great match. I really enjoyed it, and a great opener. Great way to start the show. And, yeah, it was literally a case of, can you top this? Because next came out Takeshita and Okada, and they had to follow Cage and Cope and FTR in what was a brilliant tag match. And they did absolutely that. They absolutely smashed it. A lot of people have been talking about, and me as well, that we haven't really seen New Japan Okada. And can he do it anymore? He's not as good as he used to be. He's broken down. We've all said the same sort of things. Yeah, he's done now out here. It's not the same Okada anymore. Well, he stepped in a time machine, didn't he? He went back to the old Okada. And that was fantastic. The best match I have seen from Okada in AEW. This was phenomenal. It was the match we've all been waiting for, clamoring for. Takeshita versus Okada, 1-on-1. We finally get it, and it's an absolute banger, and it nearly stole the show. It's right up there with my top 3 favorite matches from this show. One of the best matches of the year. It was phenomenal. Well done to both. And we got a new champion. Takeshita wins the belt. Finally turns babyface completely at the end of this match. Turns on the Don Callis family. Then Kyle Fletcher returns, turns on Takeshita, and the Don Callis family beat the shit out of him. And we're off to the races with Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher now, which could be pretty interesting. Excuse me. The Women's Owen Hart Cup is up and running, as is the men's, and Athena versus Mina was the first match up, and I didn't have any expectations heading into this one, to be honest with you. I hadn't seen a lot of Mina and a lot of Athena recently, but these two really impressed me. This was by far one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time. It was really good, and I hope they push both these women. We need to see more of these women in AEW. They were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. What a women's match that was. The best women's match of the night, in my opinion. I didn't watch the women's Fatal 4-Way live. I did take a bit of a break, but I did go back a couple of hours ago and watch that match. And in my opinion, it wasn't as good as Athena versus Mina. And a no-limit match for the AEW Continental Championship, Jon Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly. We've seen a lot of Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley recently in matches, and this was just another Kyle O'Reilly, Jon Moxley match, the same we've seen recently. It kind of got a bit boring. It kind of got a bit long. Yeah, it was okay for a Jon Moxley match, and that's about that, really. Jon Moxley finally beats Kyle O'Reilly by submission. It was a good finish, and I did like it. But it was just a Jon Moxley match. And the men's Owen Hart Cup matches were up next. Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe was everything I could have thought it could have been and more. Will Ospreay was phenomenal. Samoa Joe was brilliant, and it was outstanding. An outstanding way to start and kick off the Owen Hart Cup. And to be honest with you, I thought, how can Swerve and Bandido follow that? They went out there and absolutely smashed that. What a match those two put on. Phenomenal. There were 4 5-star, whatever you want to call it, absolute mat classics on this show. You had Takeshita and Okada. You had Ospreay and Joe. You had Bandido and Swerve. And I'll talk about the 4th one in a minute. Bandido and Swerve. Some of the moves they've pulled out, I've never seen before. Like when he stood on his shoulder, Swerve stood on his shoulders, just ran, jumped, stood on Bandido's shoulders, and then did a house call. It's like it was nothing. Like he's been doing that every day. It was insane, some of the moves they were all pulling out. Like that they just hid away that they've never done before, and they just thought, you know what, we'll save it for today. This was the day. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Ospreay and Joe, brilliant. I can't say anything more. I can't do it justice. Words cannot do it justice how good that match was. How good Will Ospreay was. How good Samoa Joe was. And then the same goes for Swerve and Bandido. The match quality was phenomenal. Doing Owen Hart proud. That's what you got to say. The women's 4-way match, didn't watch it live. Thekla retains, and it was kind of obvious. It was a decent match. I didn't mind it. I wasn't offended by it. Kind of went a bit long, in my opinion. The worst match of the show by a long way, and it was the longest match of the show, was the Stadium Stampede. I'm done seeing Stadium Stampedes, to be honest with you. I think they're tired. I think they're old. I think they're worn out. I think they're washed. We don't need them anymore. I don't think the people in the stadium enjoyed it. I know the people at home, including me, didn't really enjoy it. It seemed like the wrestlers enjoyed it the most. It wasn't good. It was just a bunch of people doing a bunch of moves to each other for half an hour, and then they go to a finish. It made no sense. It didn't work. It didn't get anyone over. It didn't do anything to elevate anything. There was no point to it. And there is no point to doing them anymore. Really didn't help anyone. And then we get, in my opinion, one of the best championship matches I've ever seen in AEW and in professional wrestling. MJF versus Darby Allin for the AEW World Championship. Title versus hair. 2 polarizing characters on polarizing paths who meet in a great feud. And look at what Darby's done. The defenses he's made, his body giving out on him in the final one. being Darby Allin, just being Darby Allin. It was a phenomenal way to finish a story that Darby Allin's been on. But it needed to happen. But what a way they did it. It was brilliant, phenomenal. The best story we've had in 2026, in my opinion, so far. No one's beating that. No other company's touching it. No other company's touching AEW at the moment. They are putting on the best shows, the best matches, the best stories. Far and away better than the corporate company that's just boring everyone to tears and taking everyone's money. That's all they're interested in. This is professional wrestling. This is what we want. This is what I support. This was fantastic. Let me know what you think about AEW Double or Nothing 2026, because in my opinion, I can't praise it enough. It was the best show I have watched this year, and I'm so happy that it's reinvigorated my love for professional wrestling, and I can't wait to watch more AEW, to be honest with you. So I'll be back next time for another AEW review. I'll see you very soon. Stay safe, stay lucky, and subscribe.
Yeah, nice one, bruv, yeah.
Oh, nice one, brother.
Nice one, brother.
Nice one, brother.
I said, nice, bruv.
Nice one, brother.
I said, nice, bruv.
Fucking nice one, brother.
Nice one, bruv. Brother.
Fuck off.